Welcome back to the Gentleman's Gazette. In today's video, we discuss 12 essential ties every man must have. Over the years, I built up a tie collection of over 200, but I find that some are worn more often than others. There is a dozen ties I come back to over and over again, and those are the ones I choose to travel because they allow me to wear very casual outfits, semi-formal outfits, as well as quite formal outfits, and I'm covered with the entire range of ties that I need. 1. The navy silk tie. I think the very first tie every man should buy is a navy silk tie, simply because it's muted, it's dark, but if you can wear that well, you can go from there, and it's good for formal outfits, it's good for interviews, and it doesn't catch much attention. If you wear lots of solid suits, I suggest you go with a navy grenadine tie because it has a stronger texture, but it's not overly strong like a knit tie, so you can wear it with formal outfits, but it helps your tie to stand out even though the colors are not popping and strong. If you travel a lot, you may want to look into kind of a wool mohair tie because it doesn't wrinkle very easily and always pops out. So that comes in really handy when you're on the road a lot. I'd stay clear of dark blue denim ties or cotton ties or cashmere ties simply because they're more casual and they're not well suited for formal outfits. One mistake I often see with navy ties or solid silk ties is that people go with satin. That's very shiny and more suited for evening wear, so I'd stay clear of satin and go with a more matte weave, either in jacquard, grenadine, or a mohair silk blend. The second tie you should invest in is a burgundy tie. Personally, I like the burgundy knit tie because it has a lot of texture and so it goes well with a tweed jacket or a sport coat, but it also works with a formal charcoal suit or navy blue suit. It's also more airy, so it's a great choice for summer. Alternatively, you can go with a burgundy grenadine tie. It's similar in texture, it's versatile, and you'll wear it a lot of times. Alternatively, you can go with a herringbone pattern, which just adds a little more texture and contrast to an otherwise solid tie. Another great choice for a red tie is a small pin dot tie in silk, and we offer that here. It pairs particularly well with solid suits because it's muted but noticeably different from just another solid tie. Tie number 3 is a brown tie, and ideally you want it once again in a different texture than the other two ties you already have. Since brown is a more casual color, you want to go with a texture tie. So again, a knit tie, for example, in tobacco brown is nice, and so is a brown grenadine. No matter if you wear lots of sport coats or business suits, you can go with a lighter brown Shantung silk or Tussa silk because it adds texture to an outfit and is not shiny. If you live in cooler climates, you may want to invest in a brown wool tie. Tie number 4 is a striped repp tie. It's a classic in men's wardrobes and it's a typical preppy style staple from the US. They come in hundreds of patterns. They're oftentimes club ties or regimental ties, and they've been popular for many decades. This is a tie that never really goes out of style, and so it makes perfect sense to invest in one. Most men I know have a few of those ties, and oftentimes they start with red or blue. I think bottle green is a great color for a repp tie because it's different than navy or red, which you probably already have in your wardrobe, especially if you follow this guide. And it is casual, but can be worn with formal outfits, and it just rounds out your tie collection. Don't feel like you have to default to a blue or red repp tie. Simply get what you like and try to have a variety of colors. The 5th tie to invest in is a Shantung tie. I'm wearing here right now. You can get a different one. You can get them in solid colors or different stripes. But the specialty about Shantung is that it's a raw silk. That means it has little knobs in it when it's woven, and it gives it a more casual character. Nevertheless, you can spice up your outfit by going with a traditional stripe pattern and choosing this slightly different Shantung texture, which is usually the hallmark of well-dressed gentlemen. Someone who's not really into neckwear might think these ties are defective. However, the connoisseur will always recognize a true Shantung because it's matte, not shiny, unlike a Dupioni silk, for example, and it has this wonderful texture, and when you move in the light, you just get a different color spectrum, which is a nice depth, and it's just very debonair. Personally, I really like striped Shantung ties, but you can also look for solids or other patterns. For a selection of striped Shantung ties, please check out our shop here. Tie number 6 is a wool grenadine tie. Unlike a silk grenadine, the wool grenadine is thicker and it wrinkles less. It's also matte, and it's particularly good for more casual outfits during fall and winter. You can get them in solid soft colors, and unlike silk, wool oftentimes comes with mottled yarns, which is particularly useful for fall-winter outfits because they're softer and just more subdued. Personally, my first choice for a wool grenadine would be an orange and gray mix because you can combine it with brown outfits as well as navy outfits or charcoal outfits, so you can cover the entire spectrum. Even green would work because it's a complementary contrast to orange. For more about wool grenadine ties, please take a look here. Tie number 7 is a Prince of Wales check tie, and I personally like it because it's really well suited for formal events, interviews, funerals, and anything else where you just need a muted tie that is classic and business appropriate. For normal wear, I suggest you get a silk tie in a relatively small pattern that is subdued. If you wear lots of casual outfits, you can go with a larger pattern, maybe in a wool flannel. Tie number 8 is a houndstooth tie. It's a very classic pattern and has been around for decades. Usually it comes in all kinds of sizes. I suggest you get an oversized version just like this one here because it is easy to combine it with solid suits, and even if your suit has a little pattern, it stands out and is not confusing to the eye. If you want a little more texture, I suggest to go with a houndstooth tie in silk bourrette. Bourrette is a thicker silk yarn. It's very matte, it's crisp, and it's just wonderful if you don't like shiny ties. For a selection of different houndstooth ties, please take a look at our shop here. The 9th tie you should invest in is the polka dot tie. In England, they also call it a spotted tie, and it's just a very classic and timeless pattern that has been around for a long time. And if you want to start, you should probably avoid a super large pattern like this one or very small like this one, and instead go with something like this. Again, most people would start with navy or red. I suggest you look at the existing colors you have and maybe think about something in a lighter blue, medium blue, maybe orange, or maybe burgundy, maybe even yellow, depending on what you have in your wardrobe already. The 10th tie you should invest in is a micropattern tie, which is also sometimes referred to as Macclesfield needs. Traditionally, the silk printing industry was located in Macclesfield in England, and that's where they printed these ties, and they came up with these small, repetitive patterns that are not solids, but not too bold, and therefore they work very well with all kinds of suits and casual outfits alike. Personally, they're one of my favorite tie patterns because they come in any number of color ranges, sometimes with 2 colors, 3 colors, 4 colors, or even more. To start, I suggest you get a silk tie, maybe in something red or orange, maybe something yellow or buff, or something blue. If you want something more unusual, go with a wool challis tie that has a similar pattern, maybe something a little more oversized. That way you definitely stand out from the crowd. In Italy, these ties are also super popular, especially in a navy blue with a small printed pattern in dark muted colors such as brown, green, or red. If you already have a number of navy ties, I suggest you go with a different color. Otherwise, of course, you can get one. In my opinion, you can never have too many of micro-pattern ties because it just pairs so well with different things. The 11th tie you should think about is a silver or gray tie. Now, it could be one in a wool flannel that is solid because, again, it pairs with navy suits, brown suits even, and it just adds a different texture. Alternatively, you can go with a knitted silk because it's crunchy and crisp and just creates a different look than a wool tie. If you wear lots of business outfits, I suggest to get something in silver gray because you can wear it with all kinds of business suits. It's very formal, very debonair, and personally, I like to wear it a lot. It also works with stroller suits and morning wear. The 12th tie I would invest in is a Paisley tie. Paisley is a pattern that originated in India and was modified in England. It's basically this kind of teardrop that's asymmetric, and there are lots of variations of it. As you can see, All of those 4 ties are Paisley, but they come in different sizes, different pattern densities, and different degrees of decoration and detailing. It's a classic pattern, but at the same time it's a little more unusual because oftentimes it's bolder, and so you can be a little more daring. If you go with a strong pattern, you can opt for muted colors. If you go with a smaller, more muted Paisley, you can go with louder colors. For a selection of Paisley ties, please take a look here. Now that you know what 12 ties you should invest in, I suggest you take a look at our video series about how to tie your tie, because the knot makes a huge difference and you can really change the look of the exact same tie just by using different knots and different shirt collars. Don't forget to tie your tie with a dimple, and in this video you can learn how to get one every single time, guaranteed. For a full selection of classic neckties for gentlemen that will stand the test of time, please take a look at our shop here.